Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be back with today's guest, but first let's hear from our podcast sponsors. The Educational AD Podcast is sponsored by Violet Defense. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into their products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement some of their existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school's athletic department, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information and find out what they can do for you. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. Their video boards and score tables are terrific products, and you really need to check them out. You know, it's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department, but Sideline Interactive's products can generate $10,000 or more every year while creating excitement in the gym and the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or call 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email sales@sidelineinteractive.com and find out exactly what these fantastic products can do for you. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. We have one of their video score tables in our gym, and it's terrific. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. We also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they are on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, visit vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute. Give them a call at 614-981-3589 or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to thank our good friends at Huddle. At Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, are using Huddle to elevate the performance of their teams and their athletes using video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. We have a Huddle Focus in our gym, and our coaches just love it. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play, starting with the club and youth levels, all the way through high school and colleges, and even professional teams are using Huddle to improve their performance. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college and university teams that you're trying to get to recruit your student athletes. If you want to find out more about what Huddle can do for you and your teams and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to their website at huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect some comprehensive data that allow you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also gives you access to the 95% of the players and the parents who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out their testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. And we want to thank Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. You can learn more at hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest today is Jeremy Eubank. Jeremy is a registered athletic administrator, and he's the athletic director at Chatham Hall private school in Chatham, Virginia. Jeremy, welcome to the podcast.
Jake, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to hear what's going on at your school and in your part of the country. So let's jump right in. As you know, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, where you grew up, and maybe how your path has led you to your current position at Chatham Hall.
Most definitely. So I've been with my wife for 18 years. We actually were high school sweethearts. We have a 3.5-year-old daughter named Zoe, born and raised from Alta Vista, Virginia, which is about 20 minutes north of Chatham. So been around this area my entire life. 5-sport athlete in high school, played in college a little bit. Got my undergrad here in Virginia and my master's here at Liberty University as well. It was an odd path that I would say that I've had to get to where I'm at today, where, I started in business and then I got into education and then really enjoyed the rewards of coaching. And wanted to pursue this a little bit more on a full-time level.
Well, again, we all have those interesting paths that we take. Talk a little bit about, becoming an AD and making that big jump.
Yeah, so I got my start at Alta Vista High School, which is where I played and graduated from, coaching under my former soccer coach, George Krasinda. And then 3-4 years there, I was presented an opportunity at Hargrave Military Academy, which happens to be right across the street from Chatham Hall. And I took over the soccer program and the track and field program there, and was there for 7 years. And then this is my first year at Chatham Hall. At my time at Hargrave really prepared me to make this jump into director of athletics or full-time in athletics, where I was able to really build the two programs at Hargrave, and felt the most comfortable doing this here in a place that I'm very familiar with. And I've been very pleased ever since.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear the stories and those unique pathways that sometimes aren't that unique. There's a lot of commonalities from one position to the next. For our listeners, we are visiting with Jeremy Eubank. He's the athletic director at Chatham Hall in Chatham, Virginia. We're going to be back with some more, so please stay with us, but let's take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors. We want to thank Huddle for their support of the Educational AD Podcast. At Huddle, we power sports. More than 180,000 teams, including some of the best in the world, are using Huddle to elevate the performance of their teams and their athletes using video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They have online tools, mobile and desktop apps, smart cameras like the Huddle Focus. Of course, there's analytics and a whole lot more. Huddle's built for every level of play, starting at the club and youth levels, up through high school and college teams, and even professional teams are using Huddle to improve their play. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including your student athletes, a lot of their parents, and the coaches of the college and university teams that you're trying to get your kids recruited to. If you want to find out more about Huddle and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Welcome back to our visit with Jeremy Eubank, the athletic director at Chatham Hall School in Virginia. Jeremy, we always like to ask our guests about the people that have had an impact in their life, their mentors. So who can you share that's helped you along the way? None of us get where we're at by ourselves. So who are some mentors that you've had that you can share with us?
Most definitely. First and foremost, I'd like to thank, my family, my wife, Abby, my parents, her parents. It's for me, this has been, a big village that has helped raise me or helped me get to this point. And to share a little bit of light on it, going through this, I applied to 19 different 18 different AD jobs. And the 19th one, I finally got the opportunity to get my feet wet. So I've been very appreciative. The support system I've had goes back to my coaches at Alta Vista High School that I'm still in contact with that helped me build my programs at Hargrave. In particular, from a professional development standpoint, I can't speak enough to, my friends in the state, Brandon Burley, John Fox, the guy that hired me at Hargrave, his name's General Broom. Without them from a professional side, I wouldn't be the person that I am today or have the opportunities. And I really seize those opportunities and value those. So.
No, and again, it brings to light the number of people that do impact us along the way. And when you were talking about the number of positions you applied for, I still remember a long, long time ago when I graduated from college and I was looking for that first teaching and coaching job. I sent out old school over 100, letters with resumes, et cetera. And I don't think I got a call back from any of them. I spent that first year as a substitute, but that allowed me to meet some people in different buildings, some different principals, some different coaches that, ended up, helping me get started on my career. So really appreciate you sharing that. Let's go and talk a little bit about your journey so far with your state association, VIAAA, which I know is one of the very best, I think, state associations that we have, and your journey with NIAAA. Kind of tell us, where you're at right now and maybe, where you're going to be heading in the future.
Yeah, currently I am a registered athletic administrator through the NIAAA. None of that would be possible without the support of the VIAAA. And, a couple guys that I mentioned previously, Brandon Burley, John Fox, are part of that and really helped me get started in the VIAAA and understanding the role that it plays in professional development as well as networking, as well as the courses that they offer. And I've been very, very pleased with the courses that I've been a part of. And I really like the fact that all of the courses that I've had so far, it's very relatable to things that you have, whether you're a first year AD, fourth or fifth year, or, plus, as far as years of experience. And I think that it's been very good to see that a lot of those experiences, whether it's public or private school, you face those same challenges. So it's made me a better prepared person. As far as my role in the VIAAA, I am the type of person that likes to seize opportunities. And I'm actually currently the independent Southwest representative for the VIAAA for the independent schools. So that covers Roanoke, Lynchburg, Charlottesville, all the way down south to Austin, Chatham, Virginia. So.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. How did you obtain that position of leadership as that Southwest rep?
I think part of that is that, you want to make sure that you use your network very wisely. My predecessor here at Chatham Hall, her name's Laura Clay. She was actually a parent of mine at Hargrave, where her son threw shot put and discus for me for track and field. And when she told me that, she was leaving here, she wanted me to come over, take over her spot, things like that. And she also, oh, Jeremy, let me tell you a little bit about the VIAAA. So she got me in touch with the people there about taking over her spot for that. I think, being a first year AD, you don't get opportunities like that. But at the same time, I think with my skill set, she saw very quickly that I could handle those additional responsibilities on top of what we're doing here at Chatham Hall as well. So.
No, and again, it underscores the importance of working that network and also taking advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. Don't shy away from, taking on that role, taking that job when it's offered. Very cool stuff. Once again, for listeners, we're visiting with Jeremy Eubank, registered athletic administrator, and he's the director of athletics at Chatham Hall School in Chatham, Virginia. We're going to be back with some more, but let's take another quick break and hear from one of our podcast sponsors. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive. It's becoming harder and harder to fund an athletic department these days, but Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards can generate $10,000 or more every year, while also creating excitement in your gym and the ultimate game day experience. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or give them a call at 832-786-0302 to schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. We actually have a Sideline Interactive video scoring table in our gym, and it is a fantastic product. We use it for pep rallies. Obviously, we use it for games. We also use it for signing ceremonies. It's a tremendously versatile tool. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what these products can do. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. Please check them out. Welcome back, everyone, to our visit with Jeremy Eubank from Chatham Hall in Chatham, Virginia. Jeremy, this is the point in the podcast where we like to talk about best practices. So I'm going to put you on the spot again. What are some things that you have seen, or even things that you're doing right now at Chatham Hall, that you're particularly proud of, that when you step back and take a look at them, you say, boy, we really do a great job with this? What are some best practices you can share with us?
Well, I'm going to steal a few things from your book that coincide with what I've been doing without reading your book before the summer when I got this at the VIAAA New Athletic Directors Conference. There's three things that I really take that I've used in my life that have allowed me to be as successful as I've been at anywhere that I have been, as far as a different school or organization. The first one is be organized. Harvard Military Academy, they have a structure, a discipline, and things like that they expect the students to do, but also in that same regard, as an adult, you also have to go by, a certain degree of that as well. And I think that helped me in those 7 years to really develop the soccer program and the track and field program to one of the best in the state. And I do think that that has allowed me to make that jump into Chatham Hall and allow me very quickly to get things organized and get involved in an area where athletics needed a little bit more attention to detail, as well as more of an opportunity to get involved. And that's another point that I would bring up is, get involved in all the school aspects, whether it's a public or a private school. Public and privates all have different areas that you need to get involved in, whether it's the clubs, the organizations, the academics, or the athletics. And I think one of the things that has allowed me, and we'll go back to this from the beginning, is the network that I've been able to build. And that network has allowed me to also be able to be a key contributor to the VIAAA, as well as be a key contributor to our state athletic association, VISA, where, I'm pleased to announce that we're actually going to be hosting the first ever girls state golf tournament this coming spring here at Chatham Hall. We're going to be doing this at a local golf course that we worked out a partnership with. This is the first year we're going to be competing as a team and the individuals, out of COVID. The golf program started during COVID as a club, and then this is the first year of competition. And there's a lot of planning that we obviously have to do for this, but we're definitely up for that. I think the second part of getting involved that I would say is, we're also starting a track and field program. Obviously, with my background in that, is starting one at Hargrave and being very familiar with the conference because it's in the same conference for both schools. I have a pretty good grasp of where we need to go and how we need to develop to be able to be competitive right off from the bat. I think the third thing that I would say for a best practice, and I use this with the students that I coach, is, ask questions. I ask a ton of questions, whether that's, to my students that I'm coaching or professionally. But I say that there's no such thing as a stupid question. And the reason I say that, and I pose this question to all of my players that play for me is what's the purpose of a question? And the purpose of that question is you're trying to acquire information that matters to you and you alone. So in that aspect of that, that information to you is going to be the most important because you need to know that to be able to do the job or whatever you're being asked to perform. And I think kids get a little, wow, that's kind of depth for a coach or an AD to ask a type of question like that. But I think me asking as many questions as I've has allowed me to be able to understand, Chatham Hall, the State Athletic Association, VIAAA, the NIAAA, and how things work. And I think those three things have allowed me very quickly to get settled in here in this seat.
That is got to be really exciting to be hosting championship events and also starting programs. And being an old track guy myself, I've seen the value of starting, cross country and track programs. It doesn't cost a lot. They involve big numbers, and it's really a way to help build your athletic program and give kids an opportunity to participate in sports that they might not, let's say, have those fine motor skills for a team sport. So really cool, really, really great to hear that. Once again, for our listeners, we're visiting with Jeremy Eubank. He's a registered athletic administrator, and he's the director of athletics at Chatham Hall in Chatham, Virginia. We're going to be back with some more, but let's take another break and hear from one of our podcast sponsors. This is the Educational AD Podcast.
But the funny thing, oh, go ahead.
We want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs for their support. They're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They provide a variety of touchscreen consoles that are interactive, along with an extensive library of templates to make it easier than ever to recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. For ideas on how to showcase your school's diverse history, along with your proudest moments, visit vitalsignswalloffame.com. Or to learn more and get started with your own digital Wall of Fame tribute, give them a call at 614-981-3589, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. Welcome back, everyone. Jeremy, you are currently the athletic director at a private boarding school, and I've spent most of my 40 years either at the college level or at private schools similar to Chatham. And I know we have a lot of listeners too. Share with us some of the challenges and some of the rewards of working at a private school, and in your case, like I said, a boarding school. There's some unique challenges and rewards. What can you share with us?
I think the one thing that you look at when you compare public and private, and you also look at some of the challenges you face in a private school, obviously from a private school institute, you do have a state athletic association, things like that, but also you have other elements. You have kids that are living on dorms. You have social issues of missing mom and dad, or missing friends or boyfriends and girlfriends and things of that nature. So it's a little bit more of, a parental role that you do play in a boarding school, which I think, it takes a certain individual to really understand that and appreciate that and understand the type of relationship that you need to build with your students or student athletes. I think here at Chatham Hall, one of the things that we do a great job of is building relationships with our students or student athletes. And that goes into every aspect, both in the academics, residential life, the athletics, and just the general participation that you see across the board in everything that we do. I think one of the other challenges that you see as well is, the time commitments. If you're going to work in a boarding school environment, you're going to have study hall duty, you're going to have weekend duties, things of that nature. But at the same time, you're also building relationships with individuals that become lifelong partnerships or friendships. And I can tell you to this day, even kids that I coached 7 years ago at Hargrave, I still talk to once a month, mainly because, just I want to know what they're doing. Some of them have families now. Some of them are working on Wall Street or doing whatever. And it's really interesting to see how they're growing and adapting as people. And sometimes in, public schools or day schools that are private schools, you don't get that opportunity. You get to see them, 8 to 5 during athletics and academics, and then they're going home to mom and dad. So you don't get that relationship like you do on dorm or things of that nature. I think some of the rewards that you get to see is those relationships that you build at a boarding school, whether it's single gender or co-ed. You get to see that in all areas, whether it's your relationship with them as a teacher and student, or as a coach and as a student or athlete. And typically what I've found in my programs is that the success you get is the relationship that you've built with them, because they have that trust in you and they want to work hard for you. And I think that's one of the things that we've done a good job here incorporating those things. And I think we're going to get even better as time progresses and we add programs and the culture keeps evolving here like we want it to be successful in everything that we do.
I think, one of the first things that you mentioned about maybe the difference between, the public school setting and the private school setting is that it's different and it's not for everyone. And it's not a good, bad, right or wrong. It's about, finding that fit. I had some great experiences as a coach in a big public school setting. I went to a big public school when I was a high school student. But I think for me and my skill set, my toolbox, if you will, I think I worked best in that, smaller setting. And some of the things that you talked about, the relationships that you're able to build, it worked for me. It sounds like it works for you too. I've got some friends that have spent their entire career at a 2,000, 3,000 student public school, and they rave about the experience because it's a good fit for them. So appreciate you sharing that.
I would agree, man. One of the things I'll add to that you mentioned is that you went to a big public school. The high school that I graduated and started coaching at was a high school of 400 kids. And the two private schools I've been at have anywhere between, Hargrave had anywhere between 275 to 150, and now Chatham Hall averages between 150 to 165. And I think, if you're comfortable in your surroundings and that's what and like you mentioned about your toolbox, you're going to be successful at those places that that you can make an impact on those student athletes or the faculty and staff.
Yeah, making an impact. I love that phrase. Great stuff. Yeah, this has been really cool, getting to hear a little bit about your school and about you. But we're not quite done. When we come back, we're going to find out what Jeremy puts in his toolbox when we have our athletic director toolbox segment, which is sponsored by Athletic Surveys. So we'll be right back, but let's have a quick shout out from our toolbox sponsor, Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. As I said, we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment of our podcast. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect some comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic department program. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack also gives you access to the 95% of the players and the parents who really love your program, and it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a positive athletic experience has for them. Go to athleticsurveys.com and check out our testimonials, and then give them a call at 1-800-738-6466, or you can email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. If you've never used a survey to check the pulse of your parents and your student athletes, you really need to check them out. Let the experts at Athletic Surveys help you take your athletic program from good to great. Welcome back, everyone. Well, as I said, Jeremy, this has been really cool to have you on the show, but we're not quite done. You're certainly an experienced athletic director and doing a great job there at Chatham Hall. But now I'm going to task you with sending out a brand new athletic director on their very first job. But I'm only going to let you put 3 things in their toolbox. What 3 items are going to go in Jeremy Eubank's athletic director's toolbox?
So this is no particular order. From your book, and I will quote this mainly because your book was a great resource for me, and I would highly recommend it to anybody that's getting started. I think number one is tool number 4, communication. Um, you know, at my previous school when I started, I over communicated. I would send 2 or 3 emails a week to my parents, letting them know what's going on academically and athletically. The way that I've carried that over here is checking with my coaches weekly, as well as checking in with the students weekly per team. Um, Also sending out emails to parents, trying to make sure that they understand what's going on, how we're trying to plan for the future. Obviously, we get a lot of questions about scheduling, makeups, who made what team, what time is the game at this place. With COVID, are the other schools requiring, mask on an outdoor facility or whatever the case may be. So I think communications is very big nowadays. Um, all forms, email, phone calls, office number, cell phone, whatever, texting. All of that is something where you have to be accessible to be able to be successful in any type of athletic job at this point. I think number 2 is get involved and be a lifetime learner. I didn't share this earlier on, but I think one of the biggest accomplishments in my life that means the most to me is being the first one in my family to graduate from college, whether that's an undergraduate or a master's degree. But getting involved and being a lifetime learner for me is the biggest thing. And having books like yours, the VIAAA and the NIAAA putting out resources and classes for us to be able to continue on learning and growing is the biggest thing for me. Is getting that involvement also allows you to connect your network, as well as seeing what else is out there. Coming from a small town of Alta Vista, Virginia, where there's a couple thousand people, you don't get opportunities like this, or you don't get opportunities that you would not think of unless you moved out from the area or moved out from the local community. And I've been very blessed to have those opportunities. I think third and last, it goes back to tool number 6. It's all about relationships. If I had not taken the leap of faith and put, my trust in God, my trust in my family, and my trust in Hargrave, and my trust in Chatham Hall, I wouldn't be here today. I am somebody that's very comfortable in my surroundings. And, I think one of the things that, I have done a lot of is use my resources and use my mentors as people that I value their opinion and value their relationship. And if it wasn't for those relationships, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without them. So.
Oh, absolutely. I really appreciate the shout out about the book, and I'm glad it's been a good experience for you. Jeremy, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I definitely think the 3 best ways is through email, which is jubank@chathamhall.org. You can go to the website and find that as well. My office number's on there as well. I'm also on Twitter at Jeremy Eubank, or our Twitter account for our athletics is at Chatham Athletics, or I'm sorry, Turtle Athletics. So either of those ways, you can send me a message on that or give me a call, my office number. I'd be glad to answer any questions or help out anybody that's just starting out in this industry of athletics.
Guys, thanks so much for sharing that information. And listeners, I do encourage you to reach out to Jeremy. And I'm going to look forward to seeing you at the National Conference in Denver.
Yes, I'm very excited to go. Obviously, it's my first time. I've heard great things about Denver, even though I'm not a big cold person. I'm sure I'll warm up pretty quickly up there.
Yeah, well, hopefully that convention center is going to be heated. And for our listeners, we're recording this on December 1st, but you're going to be listening to it starting December 13th. So that's right in the middle of our conference. So hope you enjoy it. Jeremy, thanks so much for being on the podcast today, and all the best moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. To our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of these interviews are being uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel, so you can watch and listen. We appreciate you tuning in today. Come back again next time for another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. And we also want to thank our good friends at Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and to colleges. You can learn more at hometownticketing.com. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing.